bit and your preamp to match it, and then you're really pulling all you can out of the detector. The next section is multiple frequency methods. This is the most exciting part of this metal detector. It's the latest technology in metal detection. And here's Mark Rowan to tell us about these exciting new features.
Probably the most unique and interesting thing about the DFX is the fact that it can transmit and receive signals at two different frequencies, both simultaneously and individually. And that includes both in the discriminating and all metal modes of operation. So we have a variety of features that allow an operator to select the most appropriate means of using the two frequency information to get the best possible performance out of the metal detector. And the fact that the individual frequencies can be both individually selected as well as used together to get the best of both worlds, so to speak, is unique to this machine.
Okay, let's take a look at the different features inside of the multiple frequency method section. And we'll push enter. And there is the first one, which is two frequency best data. When you're in this mode here and this feature is turned on, the detector is actually running in both 3 kilohertz and 15 kilohertz simultaneously. And it's actually looking at the data from both signals, and the detector will make it will actually pick the signal that it likes the best and display that on the screen. So in other words, if you went across a nickel and the 3 kilohertz frequency maybe didn't like it very much, but the 15 kilohertz frequency would probably like a nickel a lot, so it would definitely go with the 15 kilohertz signal and display the nickel signal on the screen. On the other hand, if it went across a quarter, the 3 kilohertz frequency would probably like that better than the 15 kilohertz, and therefore the 3 kilohertz data would be used and it would display a quarter on the screen. If we go down to the next feature, which is two frequency correlate, again the detector is operating in both 3 kilohertz and 15 kilohertz at the same time. But if the two frequencies do not agree on the signal, in other words, if the 15K says that that's not a very good signal, but the 3K says that it is a good signal, then the detector will actually kick out that signal and you would not get a good signal on that target. In order to get a good signal in the correlate mode, both frequencies, within a little bit of a margin of error, both frequencies will need to agree that that is a good target. So in the two frequency correlate mode, you're going to receive very, very good discrimination. If both frequencies aren't absolutely sure that it's a good target, then you're not going to get a signal. So if you're in a really, really trashy area, correlate would probably be a good option to utilize. The next feature we come to is VDI normalization. What this is for is, if you'll see on the top of the control box, there is a VDI scale of all the different indicators. And this scale is related to the traditional 6.5 kilohertz. At 3 kilohertz, a nickel may not line up as to what it reads on this graphic on the control box. And the same goes for 15 kilohertz. It may not line up because this scale is calibrated at 6.5 kilohertz. So what VDI normalization does is it takes the 3K and the 15K frequency and relates them to the traditional 6.5 kilohertz information. The next feature we come to is single frequency 3 kilohertz. When you select this option, you're only going to be running in 3 kilohertz. You're no longer in the multiple frequency mode. In the 3 kilohertz frequency, you're going to see improved depth on large conductive targets such as quarters, dollars, pennies, and dimes, although you may not pick up a nickel quite as good in the 3 kilohertz setting. You're also going to see better trash rejection on small pieces of foil and aluminum. So in some areas, if you're doing a little coin hunting, you may want to try the 3 kilohertz single frequency mode and see what kind of performance that you can get out of it. If you go down to the next option, which is the single frequency 15 kilohertz, again you're only going to be running in one frequency, which is 15 kilohertz. And in this frequency here you can see improved depth and audio signal on things such as nickels, gold rings, and small items such as gold nuggets. So there may be situations where you want to try this frequency and see how it works for you. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit now about actually creating and saving a custom program. And the main reason why you would want to do this is if you found yourself setting the detector a certain way every time you used it, rather than having to go through all those changes and setups every time you turn the detector on, you can save the way the program that you like in a custom program, and then it's just a matter of turning it on, picking that program, and it will set itself to the way you like it immediately. So it saves a lot of time, and that's the name of the game. So what I'm going to do now is just take you through the process of actually creating a program and saving it. I do a lot of relic hunting. So I'm going to make a couple of changes and create a little quick relic program that might add a little performance to the detector, and we'll go through that now. One of the things you want to do is when you're creating a custom program is go ahead and start by selecting a program, one of the preset factory programs that is closest to what you want to do, and then make your changes within the factory preset program. Once you get that done, then we'll go through the saving process. So what I'm going to do is go down to the relic program, the factory relic program, and enter it just like I was getting ready to use it. Go ahead and do your air and your ground. And then from the search screen, I'm ready to go ahead and start customizing this program. So I'll hit the menu button, and one of the things I like to do is go down to my basic adjustments and go to AC sensitivity and turn the sensitivity of the detector up a little bit. So it's preset on 64, and I usually like to run mine up about 69 or 70 to get me a little added depth. And after I get that changed, I'll go back to the menu button again, and then I'm going to scroll down. Actually, I'm going to hit the menu button one more time and go back to the main menu, and then I'm going to go down to the Pro Options, hit Enter, and in the audio section, I'm going to scroll down until I come to VCO, because I always turn VCO on when I'm hunting. So I've got that on, and that's a couple of little changes that I like to do when I'm relic hunting. So now that I've got that set up, I hit the menu button all the way back to the main menu, and now I'm going to enter the preset program section again, and I'm going to scroll all the way down until I come to custom program number 1. So what I'm going to do is take that program that I just created and actually save it in custom program number 1. So with it flashing on program number 1, I hit enter, and you'll notice you have 3 options here. We have load, save, and name. The first thing I'm going to do is actually save the program. So I hit the down arrow till it's flashing next to save, and I push enter. Takes a couple seconds there, and then it'll flash, and then it's back up, the arrow is back up on load again. So now I know that it actually saved that program. And just so that I can remember what I put in there, I'm going to go ahead and name that program. So the next thing I do is hit the down arrow till it gets next to name, and I'll push enter. And now you use your up and down arrows to scroll to the particular letters of the alphabet or numbers that you want to put in there. So my little program is called Randy's Relic, and I'm going to abbreviate it just by putting RR. So I just scroll up until I come to the R. Oops, too far. And there's R, so I hit enter, and that puts the R there. And then I do the same thing again for another R. The longer you hold it down, the faster it goes. So there's the other R, so I hit enter. Now I've got RR there for Randy's Relic program. Now if I want to, if I'm finished putting in the naming part, I just hit the menu button, and that stops the naming process. And now if I want to actually load this program and use it, I go up to the, what I'll do now is I'll hit, it's flashing on RR for Randy's Relic, so I'll hit enter. Again, it asks me, do I want to load, save, or name? From this point on, every time I want to use this program now, I'll always push load. I never want to push save again unless I want to change what I put in there. If you accidentally hit save, is probably going to wipe out what you just put in there. It won't hurt anything, but you're going to have to go through the saving process again if you want to put that back in there. So we go up to the